I'm just gonna 2 legs make a pie. 2 legs like that. I'm gonna just pretend like it's something cool. Ooh, whoops. Okay. I'll just trust
I'm not an artist. I think it looks like a horse. Okay, it's got a long face.
When I first met her was at a Berg Allies meeting with Laura and Ethan. I just remember thinking like, oh my god, who is this crazy child?
The first time I met Maggie was probably at a Gay Straight Alliance meeting, and I remember she was just really confident and really comfortable with herself, and she, you know, like, you could just tell like she was okay with who she was, and she wouldn't hesitate to tell you her opinion on anything at all.
Maggie was, she was pretty short, but which was cool because I'm pretty short. Maggie was very, when you don't know her, she seemed kind of quiet, but then once you get to know her, she's really funny.
I taught Maggie, along with 20-some other students, global politics. I taught the course in Frost Lecture Hall, and I will always remember Maggie sitting well up, what one would call, I suppose, the rafters. I'll always remember her spirit. She's a diminutive, or was a diminutive, so a short person in stature, but you could tell she had gumption, she had spirit.
In general, she was just so forward. Like, you always knew if she was mad at you, if she had something to say about what you just said, she would tell you. And it was just kind of nice, because you never wondered what she was thinking, because she always told you.
She had, as I recall, an easy smile. Not a Kate Middleton show all your teeth smile, but she would have sort of a sly smile.
She could like blow in like the north wind and tell you what was up, and it was she was a lot of fun to be around because of that. She didn't hesitate to tell you how she felt, and for the most part that was a pretty good thing. I mean, she was a reasonable person, but didn't mind, you know, getting in there and messing stuff up if it had to be done.
What are you painting?
I'm painting a light bulb. Because I didn't really know Maggie very well. We met and we talked, but we didn't hang out or anything. But I don't know, whenever I think of Maggie, like from when I knew of her and from the times that I spoke with her, she always just seemed bright to me. Like she would just light up wherever she was, because she was just so talkative and happy and kind, and that's what always comes to mind when I think of her. It's just light.
I was in a class, in a stagecraft class, and a friend of mine walked up to me. He's like, "Oh, did you hear what happened?" I said, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And he told me that Maggie and her dad had been in a car accident.
Dakota called me. And at first I thought it was just going to be something like, oh, hey, you want to come over to the firehouse, watch a movie or something, you know, something along those lines. And she just kind of said it, like, just, I mean, you know, she took a deep breath and just kind of, Maggie's dead, and that was it.
At first, my spouse cried, and I cried, and Tracy Stark, I could hear her on the phone, just sobbing. It's not something that you want to think about.
I didn't really know what to do with the information, and like I didn't know what I was supposed to say or do.
I didn't comprehend it right away, I guess, and I just didn't even know what to do. But then as soon as it really kind of hit me, like, I started bawling, and I'm just like, I don't even know what to do. And
my friend had called me and texted me to tell me, and immediately as much as I know she wasn't kidding, I wanted her to be.
You don't wish this upon your worst enemy, never mind someone that you knew full of spirit, and someone I came to find out who was really taking off individually and finally feeling comfortable. You don't think as a university professor that this will happen, but you know that it will. And so it's difficult to reconcile that kind of thinking. Rationally, you know, statistically this will happen, but you never want to entertain this thought. You don't go into a new semester thinking, you know what, we're going to lose someone in all likelihood this year, or if we don't this semester, it'll be next semester.
So what are you writing?
It's I'm crazy with my tiger. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
It was Maggie's favorite song to sing by Shakira, and that was her favorite part.
What was the song called?
Loca,
Oh.
which means crazy.
Maggie and I actually lived like right next to each other, and our parents worked together. And Christmas break, we were supposed to go to Bounce together, but my mom freaked out and said no. And then we both lived in like Paynesville, and then this is the Fairport Harbor Lighthouse. That's like by our house, and that's the beach. A month or so ago, we got in this huge fight. I don't even remember what it was about because, you know, we're girls. We get in fights over stupid things. The morning that she got into the accident, she was sitting in Horniman right next to the little express lane pasta bar area where she always was. And I remember I had my food, and I was going to apologize because I was always the one to apologize for she was so stubborn. I was gonna walk over and apologize, but then I looked at my watch and looked at my food, and I'm like, I don't have enough time for this, so I will just apologize to her later. And I didn't realize that there wasn't going to be a later. And the next thing I heard was that she was gone.
You can talk to almost anybody, and they knew her in at least some capacity. It's obviously never a happy situation, but it brings you together with the people around you because you hear how they took it and you hear the things that they had to go through when things were happening. So, and more than anything, you kind of just remember Maggie.
If someone didn't know Maggie, you know, they knew 50 people who did, and they were going to see the reaction. They were going to be affected anyway because so many people around them were feeling it.
If this were, you know, like Ohio State or something, and, you know, one person, you know, died or something, there's a good chance that the majority of the campus wouldn't have known her, you know what I mean?
We all knew about it, so, I mean, tons of people that I didn't even really know came to the memorial that we had for her, and so obviously it affected a lot of people that, you know, probably weren't that close with her, but they still knew about her because it's such a small community, and, you know, all the professors kind of knew her, so it affected all the faculty and such.
It is not for me to provide Grease counseling. I don't have training in that, but I try to make myself available or make myself seen and know that students can lean on me more metaphorically than really. Occasionally a student will need a hug and you give a student a hug, or you have a box of tissues. I have one under my desk, not simply for such circumstances, but when students are having a rough time in general.
Well, I'm playing a lighter melody. You'd be saying
she knew what. God, there's not even a word for it. She just. She knew how to be who you were. She could bring that out in people. She brought it out in me, and I probably couldn't have done that without her.
your eyes paint me all alive. I'm glad that we don't see.
It was you! You made the mess!
I don't make messes, I make art.
Yeah. Everywhere you go, right?
You just
I spelled Spanish wrong. I said Spanish. How do you?
Still laughing at you.
That's okay, she wanted to go to Spain.
Dear Maggie, I spelled Spanish wrong on purpose because you want to go to Spain.
When I went to a kind of a memorial, not a service, but just a gathering, I guess, over in front of Campus Center, we all thought how funny it was that Maggie probably would have hated it and probably would have told us to get over ourselves and get on with our lives, but
She basically told us all not to be afraid to be ourselves and just, you know, always speak your mind.
I think that's the job of a professor at a liberal arts college, is to say to students, look, I'm sharing in this grief with you.
Within the first 5 minutes of meeting, you know that she's a lesbian because she tells you, because she's perfectly okay with it. And everybody should be. You hear stories all the time about people hiding who they are from either their parents or their best friends because they're afraid of what people will think.
Maggie's best trait is how open her heart was. Not literally, of course, but, you know, just, she never turned people away. You know, I mean, she was always a very accepting person. Like, you know, for example, when I first met her through Ethan and Laura, you know, I didn't really know her at all, and I didn't really know what to think of her, but she just, you know, talked to me as if we'd been friends for like years.
She was genuine, and in that sense, she was as real a human being as you'll ever encounter, and that's what I think people should remember with her. She was uncompromising. She epitomized to me what the German philosopher Schopenhauer said when he said, life is but the struggle to exist. Maggie Gessling struggled to exist, but she was proud, I think, of that struggle and knew that it was worth it to be who she was and not whom others wanted her to be.
My strongest memory of Maggie is the vagina monologues. That's when I met her. And she was always laughing. So that's how I remember her. And then the day of the monologues, I wrote, all I could think Thursday was that you should have been there. She should have been there.
and she still has such a strong presence, even now that she's not here, because that's what she gave to us, and that's what we have from her.
Those chilly winds down below. I'm going. Those chilly winds down below. Lord, Lord, don't I know? And I ain't gonna be treated that way. And I ain't gonna be treated that way.
Going to high school, I was bullied a lot for being open about my sexual orientation, to the point where I was cornered and beaten up by 3 girls in my high school. I just want to tell you to find someone, anybody to talk to. I found a lot of comfort in my high school librarian and my high school drama director, which people really don't assume those people are your allies, but just find anybody to talk to. The world needs you. Our generation needs you. You need to stay alive. Nothing is worth killing yourself for, and I promise it gets better.